Mhm. Ugh, my page. I have stories. Um, Laura and Heather moving feelings. Okay. Hello. Sorry I'm late. I don't like being late, but I got home and it was very hot. It's like all of a sudden right now monsoon season, so I had to get my AC going, clear off my anyway, you guys don't need to hear all of that. Hello. Hi, Remy. Hi, Laura. Hi, Denise. Hi, Shelly. How are you doing? You guys, I had a really interesting experience today. I'm going to tell you a story while people come in. So, I work with this woman named Anya, and she and her partner have this like side hustle crystal business, okay? Like many people do in Sedona, except that the crystals that she sells come from a very specific place. I think it's called Blue Frog Ranch, something Frog Ranch. And just listen to the story before you pass judgment on me, okay? Just listen, because this is about to get real fucking weird, okay? Um, According to the gentleman that owns this ranch, he discovered these crystals like jutting out, or like I don't know. I think he was digging and like found these crystals. These crystals are like this bluish gray weird thing. Long story short, apparently they're the remnants of an alien spaceship. Now, when I first heard this, I heard this months ago. I was like, eh, I know it's I feel like such a fucking hypocrite sometimes because as I've mentioned, every single time I do a live stream, I talk to aliens for a living. It's part of my job. It's part of what has gotten me to where I am, and I adore them. They're like my besties. But when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, meh. So she was looking at a piece of glass that I had bought that I was led to believe was Andara glass. It's a very specific type of monoatomic glass that has like strong Lemurian properties. That's a conversation for another time. I'm letting my weird hang out more and more and more because I'm starting to just like trust it more. So you guys are going to be seeing me get a little weirder as we move forward. And by the way, quick preface, if I ever get too weird, if it ever doesn't resonate with you, if you're kind of like, you know what, I'm not really into this stuff, that's okay. I will not take it personally. If you feel like I actually had this happen in a TikTok pretty recently, we were talking about ETs and channeling and stuff. And one of the people in there who's like a regular that shows up there was like, you know what, I gotta go. Like, this is not, and that's fine. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but I'm getting really strong signals that I've been holding back in pretty significant ways about my practices and stuff that's coming through. And I don't know if it's helpful. Like, I held back because I thought it was helpful. And now I don't know if it's as helpful as I thought it was. Anywho, I was looking at this Ondara glass and she's like, that's not actually the Ondara glass you think it is. And I got really defensive. I was like, no, because I like trusted the woman that sold it to me. But Anya actually like deals with Ondara glass. Like she knows what she's fucking talking about. So she invited me into her room and she has this like, it looks like a bridge. Like it's this big, a piece of Ondara glass. It's this big. And she had me hold it. And before I could like even control myself, I just said, "Woo, Lemuria." Like it just like shot out of my mouth. And I was like, "Does that make sense?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is like these are a direct tie to Lemuria and et cetera, et cetera." I was like, "Wow, like I could feel that." So she had me hold all these different beautiful, staggeringly beautiful pieces of Ondara glass. Look up Ondara glass online to see what I'm talking about. They come in all these beautiful colors. The energy from them is very, very interesting. It's very Lemurian if you guys are familiar. So she had me hold that. And then she pulls out these crystals that are supposedly part of this alien craft, this UFO that crashed into this guy's site. And I think it kind of like because of the heat of the crash, it's almost like a tektite, like it has that same kind of energy around it. So she puts two of them in my hand. They're big. She has these giant pieces. And I was like, holy shit. I could feel it immediately. And before I could stop myself from saying it, I'm like, they're talking to me. They're talking to me. Like they were talking to me. And I was like, and she's like, what are you hearing? And I'm like, well, they're sad. And she looked really confused. She's like, "What do you mean? Like, are you sure that's not you?" And like they're pulling up your own stuff. I was like, "No, that's not. I know my sadness. This is their sadness because." And I think I was just started channeling, and they were like, the crystals were missing their people. They were like, "We miss the beings that used to inhabit this ship. Like we miss our family." And like they just wanted to tell me their whole story. Then she took those pieces back and she gave me two smaller pieces, and I just dropped into a borderline trance. Like I was just sitting there, I was like, my spine was getting straighter and straighter. I just started meditating, and the one little piece that I had, it was like this big, it looked like a little arrowhead. I could see in my mind's eye that it wanted to levitate. I told you this was going to get weird. And I was like, no way. And like, I started to like, be like, can I make it do that? Like, can I make it like, and cause it felt like it wanted to lift off of my hand. So I sat with that for a while. And then like, I got a download and I looked at Anya. I'm like, why are the crystals talking about gold? Because they just said, I keep seeing gold. And she was like, "Oh, well, the guy that found it was looking for gold deposits when he found these. Like, I guess his land is like has like little gold deposits everywhere, and he makes jewelry out of it and stuff." Um, and there was something about the gold and the levitation, and I was like, "I don't know, but I almost feel like the gold is like a necessary component for like 0 point technology or something." Like it was crazy. And then she gave me two other pieces and it made me very emotional. When I gave these pieces back to her, I could have sat with these crystals forever. Like I was like, I just want to hear everything about them. My skin started to break out. And I got a little nervous. Like this big red streak, which is no longer there, started. It was very itchy and burny. Started forming on my wrist, and my coworker was like, "You should go wash your hands." Like, and I was like, "Holy crap! Like, are these radioactive? Like, what the fuck is going on?" And I asked her about it, and on top of the rash that was here, I got extremely irritable. Like I got so like it wasn't like me. Like I was so on edge, and I felt really bad because there was a client that wanted me to do something that was actually kind of asinine. And I was this close to just like flip. I was like, "Whoa, Nimue, like slow it down. What the fuck is going on?" Oh, I didn't get to this part of the story. I used one of those, the arrowhead one, to cut a cord. And cut a cord. So I think that's what it was. And I go to Anya and I go to my men. She's like a mentor to me. She's my boss, and ask her like, what is happening? My face. I don't know if you guys can see this on my face. This red stuff here starts breaking out. I never break out. I am blessed to have not had to have dealt with acne growing up. Like it's very rare that I get like zits or anything. I'm completely broken out on the side of my face. And she got a little worried. She's like, "Don't, like, we've tested them, they're not toxic, like they've done all these tests on these crystals." And I think what happened was because I cut that cord, something that was attached to me is leaving and exiting, and it didn't want to leave without that like that like frustration. So I talked to a UFO today, and it helped me cut a cord that was linked in my neck. My neck feels a lot better than it did. My neck has been in like off and on pain. I've had major issues with my neck for years now. Um, so I'm going to I want to save to buy a bigger piece from her, but she was sort of suggested that if we do some trades, she might like we might do a barter because I want to work with this stone. It's called Palinet. It's called Palette Stone. I love my crystals. Is that what it's called? I'll send you guys the link to this. She has a website. Hi, Dana. So this is the website with these crystals. And I would really like to buy one from her that has she wire wraps some of them so I can wear it. She's also like you can wire wrap it with other crystals and it will like talk to the other crystal. Yeah, they're called Palanet crystals. Palanet crystals. They're about the same price as like um not labradorite, moldavite or Libyan glass. Like it's that same price range. But I've never had a physiological reaction. And she's like, it's not toxicity, it's not radiation or anything like that. Like they've done extensive testing on this stuff. And I didn't have it like on my face, or I wasn't putting it on my face. Anyway, very, very fucking interesting day. We spent the entire day talking about channeling and soul contracts. I'm going to see Bashar in a couple of months. I am so fucking excited. Like I am so excited, you guys. If you don't know who Bashar is, look him up. Eashar. Um, Things are leveling up for me energetically in some really fascinating ways. It's just things are fucking awesome. I kind of like did some automatic writing with my guides, and I asked them about leveling up and taking things to the next step and expanding. And I think it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the year sort of brings. Anyway, we're gonna do 2 piles today. We're gonna do 2 piles. So hi Felix. I'm just catching up in the chat. Sorry, I was kind of ranting. Um Story time on Dara's. Yeah. So the piece I had, it might be Andara, but she's like, if it's real Andara, it's not tumbled, and mine does look a little tumbled. So I kind of want to go like the lady that I bought it from is a sweetheart. Like I might just talk to her and be like, "Are you sure you got it from the right place?" Because I actually work with somebody who's like specializes in this, and it's not the same thing because she charged me a lot for it. Like Andara glass is really expensive. It's still whatever I have still has a charge. Like if I let other people hold it, they're like, "What the fuck?" Like it feels like pop rocks when you hold it. Not everybody responds to it, but the people that have had the same reaction that I did, which I think is really interesting. All right, 1 or 2. You get these piles set up. I've been very fucking chatty all day. I can't get over this. Like I can't. I'm like it's releasing something in me. And like I messaged her and I'm like, I've never had this reaction before. And I think she freaked out. She's like, I don't think it's she I don't I think she thought I was like accusing her of like having like, it was like in malachite's poisonous and like bumblebee jasper can be poisoned. There are toxic crystals out there that if you aren't handling them right, if you don't treat them right, can cause like rashes and stuff. But I don't think this feels energetic to me. Like it feels, especially given the conversation I had with these crystals. Woo. Yeah, so we're gonna this Patreon is probably going to be getting more UFO higher dimensional focus from here on out. Again, if that makes you uncomfortable, if that's not something you vibe with, I will not take it personally. I completely understand. These are my allies. They have been my allies since 2020. They have changed my world. And after seeing people like Bashar do what he does on social media and just seeing how all this messaging that I hear from them, that I see from him, that I see from Jessa, who also works with extra dimensional beings, all of the messaging is the same. And that's what really compels me. It has to do with like unity consciousness. It has to do with reality being a neutral state that we apply a charge to as conscious, creative, divine beings. There's so much there. And I feel like I just can't wait to share more of what I experience with them. So I'm really pumped. I'm really, really pumped. My meditations have started changing. Like I have a mudra deck, and I have been working. My guides have been giving me mudras to work on my throat, to work on my solar plexus. And after this conversation I had with them about like leveling up, the mudras I'm picking are completely different, and they're all focused on like third eye devotion, like unity consciousness. Like it's a complete shift. The name of the crystal that so the link is in the chat, but it's Palanet crystals. If you go to Love My Crystals, if you go here, I'll put the link in the chat again. She gives you the whole story. There's like a whole documentary about this guy's ranch apparently, and this whole situation. And I guess Anya and her partner have been a part of like the UFO community for a while, and that they got invited to like check this out. They're like paranormal investigators. Like they're really, really interesting people. And the other crystal is the Andara glass. Andara glass. Um, Totally fascinated by this stuff, even if I'm slightly because I mean, like again, it seems weird for me to be as skeptical as I am. It's a safeguard for me. It's a protection. It's protective for me because like if I didn't have that left part of my brain developed, I would be in la la land. And there are some people who buy into this stuff who really like they're not here. They're not here, and I want to stay here and as present as I possibly can while I'm working with these entities because they are at such a high frequency that if you're not anchored, you can absolutely get untethered. And I don't want to untether myself, and I don't want to be responsible for untethering others. You feel me? So, but I think I trust them enough that I think the messaging coming through is not going to be something that's going to put somebody into fucking spiritual psychosis. Like they've been very pragmatic with me over the past 3 years, so I don't really see that changing much. Um, yeah, and that's why I think they're working through me and why they're working through me to talk to you guys because I feel like the people that I do readings for and the people that are in this community, you guys are in a similar playing field as me. Like this stuff is interesting. A lot of you do have psychic abilities. A lot of you are metaphysical practitioners or healers, but there are limits right, to our beliefs, and that's fine. Those exist for a reason, but I think that they want to learn how to wake more people up through using language that isn't just like 10 to 18, only eat fucking wheatgrass and blah, blah, blah. Like, like they don't talk like that to me. Group number one, I love a challenge. Challenge accepted. Group number one. Oh, wow. This makes me want to just bawl, start crying. Group number one, this is either something you are currently experiencing, something I feel a lot that this is something you're hoping for. Like, I feel like this is something that a lot of you are trying to manifest. Um, it's coming. It feels almost guaranteed to me, but it does feel like right now things might feel very, very intense emotionally. Okay, emotions are running high. Some of us are still recovering from that last full moon. That full moon in Capricorn was a doozy. I have the Eight of Swords. Okay, look at this like inner child imagery here. So, Eight of Swords, if you guys are not familiar, is sometimes an element, can be an element of self sabotage, self doubt, feeling trapped by your own limiting beliefs, basically, is what it comes down to. It's kind of like the devil, but in a little bit less of an intense way. Okay. So, feeling trapped by your own limiting beliefs. And sometimes this can show up as projecting, like, I'll just give you the best example. Like, if I want to be like, ideally, my ideal timeline, I am an artist and a spirit medium equally. Like, I want to give as much time to each one because they both bring me a lot of joy. I'm good at both of them, and I want to continue to develop both of them because I think there's more places I can take it, and I think it would help. Falling over, help people. I think it would help others. But I'm always like, I don't have the energy. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't have the people. I don't have the connections. That's Eight of Swords energy, is making excuses for why you can't expand and why you can't feel fully empowered. So the medicine of the Eight of Swords is recognizing that those limitations often are just stories. Okay. You're going to be moving out of this Eight of Swords energy, group number ones, and into more balance. This means that the pragmatism that sometimes triggers this is still going to be with you. You're still going to have a good head on your shoulders. You're still going to be rooted, and you're still going to be working with reality in a way that's not bypassing anything, not making excuses for anything, but you're going to come out of the limitation and into more expansion. And this is going to be an intense realization. I feel like this could be a very, very emotional journey for some of you. Um, that kind of like, they're saying like it feels like grieving, like, oh my god, I can't believe I've been doing this, I can't believe I've had this story for so long. You might find yourself mad because you learned that story from somebody who didn't have your best interest in mind or whatever. I have this We Are One card showing up for group number one. This is I don't want to say unity consciousness because that sounds a little too high frequency for what I'm picking up on, but this is seeing yourself in other people. This is seeing how other people's healing journeys mimic your own, and how if other people can heal, you can heal. How when other people root into the earth, the roots reach for yours. Like others people's energy is reaching for yours to find community. I have release showing up here, the Kali Mudra. It says to interlace the fingers of both hands in front of the heart with the right thumb over the left, and then extend the index fingers upward toward the throat center. I release all obstacles, Eight of Swords, and align to my true nature. Um, I have the Light Priestess. This is kind of like the High Priestess, but like this feels more like spirit guide energy. Actually, this feels like higher self energy. Galactic wisdom, cosmic ritual. This is you recognizing your soul. This is you calling in your higher self to kind of override more controlling sort of, they're saying vindictive programming for some of you. So this could be working with self-negative talk and releasing it. Self negativity does not help anyone, and I don't say that to shame anybody. I don't say that to put pressure if like you're having a really hard time with intrusive thoughts or working with this. But if you're making the excuse that like if I'm not this hard on myself, I won't be a good person, that's not it. That's not how it works. Trust a bitch. I used to think I thrived off of self-hatred, which is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, it has been coming up a lot. So some of y'all might want to look up working with Aspen Flower Essence. The Pacific Northwest Flower Essence Company has a great Aspen essence. Highly recommend. Group number two. Group number two. Okay, lots of green showing up for group number 2. New beginnings. And the 5 of is this the 5 of Pentacles? I think this is I can't tell. I don't use this deck very often, so give me one. Yeah, it is Pentacles. Okay. 5 of Pentacles, new beginnings to watch over you. Pay attention. What are we paying attention to? Similar message. Let me sit with this for a second. Show you. This also makes me emotional. 5 of Pentacles, fear of scarcity. It is called the Herbiary Oracle deck, I think. The Herbiary, H-E-R, Herbiary. The 5 of Pentacles is feeling left out. Feeling like other people have what you want. I pull envy a lot with the 5 of Pentacles. It's a fear of scarcity. It's a fear that, like, you're not worthy of receiving, basically. And that fear is sometimes very subconscious. Like, cognitively, you can be like, yeah, I deserve to have nice things. But if there's a deep, like, set of beliefs in there that taught you at an early age that to have was to be wrong in some way. For some of you, it could be the narrative that rich people are bad, money is bad, capitalism is hard. And I don't want to diminish anybody's experience with having a hard time paying the bills. I get that we're all in it right now. Like the next 2 months is going to be really potentially stressful for me because we have slow season. I had one client today in 8 hours. So I get it. And we know how abundance works. We know how manifestation works. Why are my cards just flying all over the damn place? Where'd it go? I feel like I'm losing my Marmars. Okay. A card fell on the ground. I don't know what it was. That's fine. Okay, I have self-trust. Interlace fingers from right and left hand to the first knuckle with the pinky fingers to the bottom. Extend thumbs and index fingers upward. Hold hands in front of the heart and chest with elbows relaxed downward. Unshakable confidence guides my journey forward. I have pay attention. Look at the screen. They want you to pay attention to your heart. They also want you to pay attention again to the inner critic. This is the Queen of Swords. For some of you in group number 2, you have mastered the art of self-criticism. It is an art form for you. It might not just be self-criticism. It might be criticizing the world, criticizing capitalism, criticizing politics, criticizing the other side, criticizing your boss, criticizing your family, complain. The Queen of Swords, she can be great because she does call stuff forward and she can make things, she's really obsessed with finding the truth of the matter. But I'm getting with this 8 of Pentacles and Queen of Swords energy that group number 2, you have mastered the art of judgment. Judgment and discernment are not the same thing. Judgment isolates. Discernment puts you into a more wise and patient frequency. So they really want you to sit with this critic. They really need you to have a conversation with this part of you, because the critic is the one telling you that you're not going to make it. You don't have enough. You're never going to have enough. Everybody else has everything and I don't have it. Why am I so bad at this and everybody else is good? Why can't I figure it out? Why am I a failure? This is really similar to group number 1, but this is a little bit more intense with the self-judgment. I have new beginnings. And I have to watch over you. This is a spirit guide card. Spirit guides are coming through real strong right now, you guys. Like, they're making themselves known in ways that I don't know that they have before for some folks. So just pay attention to synchronicity. Pay attention to that whisper that is your intuition. Remember, intuition whispers, anxiety yells. That's why meditation is so encouraged when you're doing a spiritual practice, because you're not going to be able to develop your intuitive skills if you're not listening for that whisper. If you're only listening to the wah, 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 like the Queen of Swords, you're not going to hear it. You're going to be fine, but you need to address that self-critic. I don't yell at myself anymore. Like, I have very intentionally decided not to berate or yell at myself, abuse myself anymore after decades of doing that. The only part of me that I will sometimes raise my voice to is the inner critic, because she needs to chill the fuck out. And like, I've had to at least once show up as my higher self and be like, you absolutely do not get to talk this way. to anybody in this house. You do not get to use this language. You do not get to hurt anybody. You do not get to spew your vitriol. Absolutely the fuck not. Like I've had to set some boundaries with this part of my brain. And guess what? She listened. She has no choice because the higher self is in charge. Okay. The higher self is the CEO of your consciousness. She's just a little fucking, she's a little minion. Okay. That's what I got. Oh, I feel like I ate too fast or something. Oh, I hope I'm not going to be like fucking like purging from this crystal stuff. Whatever. If it has to come out, it has to come out. Sorry, it was kind of gross. Looked at Kali Mudra. Yoga teachers are recommend that students not hold that pose for longer than 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, most mudra, especially there's a couple mudras that you only want to hold for like 60 seconds. And usually it's the ones that are kind of pointed towards your third eye because apparently your nervous system can go and like it can be a little intense. Thank you for that, Catherine. You need to let yourself enjoy the things you like. That's what, okay. So, are you guys familiar with Bashar? Do you guys know who this being is? He's an entity that channels through a man named Daryl. I can never remember his last name. He's an Essassani. I think he's from the fifth dimension, and so he says. He's basically Essassani are like Zetas and humans that with their genetics combined, they're like a hybrid from 300 years in the future, according to him. And he channels to kind of just offer guidance on how to work with reality and live a life that you want. Like how do we use our consciousness for the betterment of all? How do we use our consciousness for the betterment of ourselves? And he talks about the greatest way to manifest is to follow your passions and to ends of the earth. To really chase the things that you are passionate and excited about because the universe loves that shit and will line things up to give you the things that you want through those passions. If anybody wants, message me, DM me. I found on Reddit, like in the far dark corners with cobwebs in them on Reddit, somebody put together a PDF. It's 3,000 pages of interviews of Q&As with Bashar dating back from like the early 90s. So if you guys want that, message me on Patreon. I'll send you the link. I've just been like just fucking feed me. This is amazing. I used to watch his channels. I am not going to the wedding. And honestly, like it is, I had to sit with that. I had to really be like, am I the asshole for doing this? And I'm not. I had to journal about it for like 2 days to kind of clear or at least ease my conscience because as much as I love my friend, the East Coast holds so much darkness for me that I don't know if I want to go to someone's wedding and be mostly concerned about managing my triggers the entire time because I want that day to be about him and his wife. I want that day to be about celebration. I don't want it to be about me like eating Xanax because I would probably get like I'd have to bring something with me in case I absolutely lost my shit. I don't want to put myself through that. Like I don't want to go on a plane. Planes are a shit show right now. Traveling is a mess. It's a lot of money. It's too much. It's too much for me. It's too much of my nervous system. And I think I wrote in my journal, like, why would somebody who has spent the past 4 years of their life devoted towards self-love and self-care put themselves through this just to say that I should put, because I was like, even before I found out Bashar was going to be in Sedona, I was like, I'm just going to push myself. I'm just going to, and I don't want to push myself if I don't want to go somewhere. That's not like there was other than actually seeing my friend, there was nothing I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. I wanted to go to see him and I wanted to celebrate him. But it's I feel like Bashar coming to Sedona at that same date almost felt like a message from my guides like, hey, okay, like so yes, was it a selfish decision? Yes, but kind of in a self-full way. It's funny, Shelly. I was going to ask Bashar because I entered the lottery to see if I could ask him a question. And I'm thinking, like, what questions will I ask him? And I wanted to ask him, what's the difference between addiction and passion? Passion, hyper focus. So passion, I actually asked this question to my colleagues today, and they said passion is something that fills your whole body. It is something that inspires every cell of your being. It brings you joy. It brings you It brings you abundance. It brings you creativity. And I think hyper focus can be a branch of passion, because I do hyper focus on the things I'm passionate about. When it starts becoming harmful, if it starts getting in the way of other things that you need to be doing, or if it's affecting your health negatively, then you need to take a step back. I don't think that's what passion is in the way that Bashar is talking about it. But I'm sure I'll as I read through these Q&As and watch more of his TikToks and see him live. That'll probably come into clearer focus. I think people look at, am I starting to channel now? Is that what we're doing? I think hyper focused has been demonized because neurodivergence is held in low esteem by neurotypicals. Because when you're hyper focused on something, you're giving your entire attention to it. And often what you're hyper focused on is not your job. It's not capitalism, unless you love your job. If you're lucky enough to love your job, hyper focus just means that you're giving your full attention to something. I don't see what the problem is. I think some people look at hyper focus as like something to be afraid of. Why? Why are we afraid of focusing on something we love? Does that make any sense? So um addiction is ignoring the rest of your life in pursuit of a thing. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. Because addiction, like my colleague Patty, she was like, addiction will hurt you. Like it causes harm. It causes harm to you. It causes harm to other people. Passion ignites. Passion burns. Passion guides. So there, and I am, I think, learning the difference as an addict. Like my parents started feeding me alcohol when I was about 13. I never didn't see, they were always drunk. I don't know if I ever saw my parents sober. um, like after about 2 o'clock, like they were always intoxicated. So it was hard for me, I think, for a while to figure out the difference, because I thought that maybe I was just very passionate about drinking. um, but as it turns out, it was addiction. It was definitely addiction. I'm curious because hyper focus is often temporary, passion is more lasting. You can have multiple passions. You can have multiple passions. I've been hyper focusing on Star Wars for 40 years. I've been hyper focusing on Sailor Moon for about 20. So I don't know. I think it depends. And I think hyper focus can again be an outlet for kinds of passion. I think passion is a more encompassing thing, where hyper focus can be like an arm or a branch of that energy. I must have eaten too fast. Like my stomach feels like there's a brick in it right now. I didn't even eat that much. Do we have other questions for that? I can't get over those crystals. I can't get over this. This is fucking nuts. I feel good. I feel energetically very good. Like I felt like shit for like the first like 20 minutes after I stopped touching those crystals. And I had this moment of panic being like, what if it's like a Lord of the Rings situation where these crystals become like the precious? And if I like let go of them, I like, like I start getting like all fucking weird. I don't think that's actually what they are though. If they literally they were singing, they were intelligent, they were talking. Um, all right. Any questions for the Galactics, my friends? Any questions for my higher dimensional besties? Mm, my precious. Oh, precious. I can't do the Gollum voice. What can we learn from our dreams? They're like, what can't you learn from your dreams? That would be a better question, actually. Other than journaling, what are ways to access them? When you say access, Shelly, do you mean like decode and kind of like unravel, like to like acquire meaning from them? Is that what you're talking about? I keep hearing you can learn where you want to go. You can learn where you want to go. You can learn where you want to go. Um, you can learn about your ancestors. You can learn about um what is that? They're literally like they're like dreams are like Google. You can learn whatever you want. Um, acquire meaning, decode, and help remember. Help remembering they're just showing recording, 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 because that's the best way to kind of keep track and like, be with the dream as you wake up. Acquire meaning. They're like, that's the beautiful thing about dreams. You can sort of put whatever meaning you want to them. They're practice for finding meaning in this reality. When you put meaning on a dream, you start to get more engaged with your creativity, and your subconscious. So you're allowing yourself to create in a different dimension, because we create here all the time. It's another way to acquire meaning. Period. But they're like they're saying tabula rasa. Like you can put whatever meaning you want to them. One person dreaming about a red door means one thing. Another person dreaming about a red door means something completely different. That's the beauty of it. It's art. They're saying canvas. It's like the dream space is a canvas. I'm learning all kinds of things from my dreams. Me too. My late friend Z has been showing up a lot in my dreams lately, which has been interesting. What other questions do you have? Yeah, they just keep saying tabula rasa, tabula rasa. It's like a blank slate. What about like traveling to different dimensions? Because like that term dreamwalker came up recently. They're saying that's a little bit different. They're saying there's doors in the dream space too. The dream space is kind of like a threshold space where if you get good enough at it, and sometimes it's a crapshoot. Sometimes your higher self and your soul is just they're going to go places and you're going to remember what you need to remember for whatever reason that you want to apply it to. But there's doors that exist in the dream space, and you can go to different. They're calling them portals. You can go to different places, different realms, and you can do it more or less intentionally if you start to really work with trusting your subconscious. I don't know how to do, like I've been trying to remember how to lucid dream for a long time, but they're saying something about yogic. I know there's like yogic practices you can do to get better at dream work. Oh, interesting, Nora. I usually tell people to notice how they feel during the dream. That's a great piece of advice. What do they want to share about somatics? What are somatics? I don't know what that is. I'm a dream walker by accident. Can you tell us what dream walking? Because that's the second time that this term has come up. What is dream walking? um, they're saying they're like it's just what we say it is. You move from realm to realm to realm. You can use the dream space as like a how do I want to put this? It's almost like a pocket dimension. Like the dream space itself is like a pocket dimension that has portals to other places and other realms and other lifetimes, other timelines. And if you learn how to walk through them, you can start to like learn how to. I don't know if this is also like connected to astral projection, but it feels kind of like it is. My dreams have been so strange, like all kinds of detail, but work related. My dreams have been getting crazy. Visual mapping of sound. Oh, Catherine, are you is that synesthesia? Is that what that is? Okay. Oh, like that sacred geometry that like if they put salt on a speaker and they set it to different frequencies, it makes really cool patterns. I know, Felix. What do they want to share? They're just like it's beautiful, isn't it? Um, I don't know if they have an answer to that. Let me lean into that a little bit more. What can you share about somatics? Um, they're talking about how they're really great to meditate with, because it's like the mantras that we kind of intuit, like or the yantras, I think is what they're called. They're like visual aids for meditation. You can kind of use them to see how those patterns are not just arbitrary; they're not incidental. It's like evidence that we're able to tap into kind of the spiritual mapping of reality. Uh, well, starting to channel really hard. They're calling them schematics. It's like a way to see schematics of the universe and how it's kind of put together. And they're like, isn't it beautiful? They keep talking about, isn't it gorgeous? Like, isn't it pretty? Isn't it amazing? Um, and they're calling the creators of this reality artisans. And it's a way to it's almost like in the sense that like a third eye or three, what do they call that? Like, when you look at those third eye paintings, like when you cross your eyes and you see something deeper underneath it, they're like, it's a way to see the layers underneath. It's a way to transmute sound into visual stimuli as well. So that makes fucking sense. Patterns and salt. Yep, they can be visually meshed with light waves as well. There have been a couple of times when I was super tired, that when I closed my eyes, I felt like I woke up somewhere else. I've had that happen. I kind of want to ask them about their understanding of gender, if they have any at all or insights. I'm doing a lot of gender work. What are your, do you have any insight about gender? One of them is like, we think it's adorable. That's the tone that I'm hearing. It's adorable. Um, oh, that's Anya. That's the girl with the crystals. She's like, how's your skin? I'll get back to her in a second. Um, Gender is so there's a couple of them talking about it. Gender is actually quite beautiful to some of them in a way, because it's a really it's like taking on a certain role in a play, and you get to really experience that role through that gender. Gender is a way to understand how you can kind of condense a spirit into a more solid container, in some cases. It's a way to engage with reality playfully. This is making me want to cry. What else do you want to say about gender? Do you guys have gender? Not yeah, they're like, not especially. It's not really a thing. I sometimes use pronouns with them. Like Oscar feels very like divine masculine to me. Micaiah feels masculine to me. But it's like, if I lean into their energy, I don't feel the like human man woman thing going on. Um, and they're also saying how, hold on, they're all talking. Can you guys do one at a time? They're also calling it a way to map reality out. Like, it's a way to map it's a way to kind of, like, understand your place, um how do I wanna put this? It's they're just saying character control. It's a way to control your character. I think I was even coding in my dreams. Oh, interesting. I looked up dream walking after our session, and it seems like practicing it sounds scary to me because you're also training your brain to do it while you're awake. Whoa, whoa. Magic eye, that's what those are called. Thank you. Sounds like they're gender fluid. Would you guys consider yourselves gender fluid? No, not in the sense that you're thinking, because that would suggest that they have man and woman to begin with. It's not really a thing, because a lot of these people don't have, they're not even embodied, like they're not like physical entities. Um, so it's not so much about like there's not as much polarity once you get to certain levels of dimension. So gender isn't really like as much of a thing, if that makes sense. Like when I feel them as masculine or feminine, that's more for my own perception and awareness and understanding, because we live in a binary world. Um, where up until pretty recently, I mean, that's not to say that like non-binary and trans people, we've been around for fucking ever. Like we've been around since humans have been around, but it hasn't had a language around it in the way that it has up until pretty recently, since colonialism like destroyed a lot of that. So um, these are great questions. Any other ones for them? Why is my stomach hurt? You guys tell me why my stomach hurt. Oh, they're just saying I've been they're saying I've been very excitable all day, and that's why my stomach hurts. I have been. I've been like, I've just like like me and like I've been talking. I used to just like go to work and just stay in my room and like not talk to anybody, like the hermit that I fucking am. And lately I have kind of made a pact with myself to stop being such a fucking like meh with everybody. And now I'm like friends, not friends, but like I've been talking to every single one of my coworkers, just blah, 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 like we won't do, like we can't shut the fuck up. That's how I understand it too. They don't really have a gender, the higher vibe you go. Yeah, it's not like a big deal. It's not like it's not a big thing. Like it's a lot of what we're concerned about with gender, they're saying is very political. And it, at its core, it's creative, but it's been made political by morons who want to try to control us with false narratives. Anything else? I was thinking about asking Bashar about himself. I kind of want to know more about like his civilization and how they advanced. Like how did they avoid some of the pitfalls that it feels like we're in, or did they have to go through what we were going through in order to come out the other side and ascend? I just got this really really wild book. I'll show it to you guys. I told you I was getting weirder. Excuse me. Room where the AC is on. It's so hot in there. It's monsoon season has officially started, so my living room, like the fucking swamp cooler, does nothing. So I got this. It's called The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life by Drun Valo Melchizedek. And like, I don't know, I read the first couple words, the first page, and I want to know, I want to know more. It basically talks about the fall. It starts with the fall of Atlantis, which is something that has captivated me for a very long time, especially ever since I had that Atlantean memory during that Jessa Reed live that I've never been able to forget or put down. So I'll let you know how this goes. If it feels off, I'll let y'all know. But this is he says he's done like science and math to kind of like prove that we have gone, like, I guess around the time of the Younger Dryas, where there was a like apocalyptic event about 13,000 years ago, which is where they kind of tie this into Atlantis. He says that we didn't just like get hit; we fell through dimensions. Like our consciousness descended, like boom, 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 boom. Like we hit every branch on the way down, and now we're in this 3D, and we're kind of in this denser place than we were before. Drun Volo, thank you. We need practical tips from aliens. That's why I like Bashar. Bashar is very straightforward. He's very no bullshit. I think that's why I vibe with him compared to other channels that I've heard. All right, who wants a card? Let me know in the chat if you want something specific, if you want something general. Catherine, have you read him before? Have you read his work? I just like don't want to end up reading one of these books and like find out that they're a fucking Nazi or something. That's it sucks because there is that really creepy tie-in to new age spirituality and some really fucked up beliefs. And I'm just like, I gotta be aware of that pipeline. Laura, work related. Work related. It says remembrance, Laura. Let me see what they're asking you to remember. What are you asking Laura to remember? The Eight of Cups. Laura, you can walk away from it whenever you want. If you love it and this isn't resonating, let me know. This is what the class was on, what tarot school is about on Friday. The Eight of Cups is when something used to serve you and you've gotten to a point in your life where it just isn't in alignment with you anymore, and you walk away from it, even though it's like kind of hard because you're so used to it. Is that making sense? I see all caps and I see an exclamation point and question mark together. General card for Dana. Spirit into matter. Dana, this is just you, I think, bringing the messaging through in your mediumship, finding abundance through your mediumship. It's literally bringing spirit into the world. I think this is just validation of the beauty, of the charm, of the magic that you're doing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. Denser, that's a good way to put it. General card for Denise. Denise, I want to pull one for you from this new deck that I have, this Oracle of the Hidden Worlds by Lucy Cavendish, because I think the art is stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Ooh, Spirit of Spring, Denise, number 34. I'm going to read from the book. I really want my stomach to just be okay. Okay. Freedom, action, power. You have work to do, dear one, a vocation to fulfill, and is beyond the numbling clod of the slave machine that can be our culture. You have more to give than that. It is pushing you through the limitations that seem to be all about you. You are free, free to make your life your garden, free to become what your nature has destined you to be, free to make wild the life that forces within the paradigms would what? free to make wild the life that forces within the paradigms would prefer to enslave for their. Do what you want. Follow your passion. Sometimes it's hard when our external world doesn't match the internal world we want, but it starts here. Marmalade. Marmalade. Homeward Traveler, completion, reunion, and return. Number 21. And it says, you have reached the stage of your journey where much of the hard work has been done. You have traveled far and gone through many tests and dangers. You could have stopped, but you didn't. I think they're really just telling you to like remind yourself how far you've come. You've ended a cycle and it looks like you're starting a new one. This is giving me they're playing Homeward Bound by Paul Simon or Simon and Garfunkel. That's really interesting. I haven't heard that song in a while. I don't know why I want to pull a clarifier for you on this one, Marmalade, but I'm going to. Strength. And I don't know why I want to tell you this, but they're saying don't give up on yourself because you've already done so much. Like, why would you give up on yourself now? Okay. General card for Catherine. Envision the future, Catherine. And I think they're telling you to envision it in like a really sparkly, iridescent way. What if every time you thought of your future, there was just light? What if every time you thought of your future, there was magic? That's going to inform your present. It's going to bring that future to you. General card for Samantha. Just get one, please. The Light Priestess. I pulled this for group number 1. This is number 6. Observe the subtle light all around you, the play of light on water, the reflections off of windows, the prisms and lanterns and rays that imbue our world with wonder and messages from the depths of the universe. Allow the planets to connect with you. Re-engage with your starry self, your cosmic being, your eternal essence that is the light from 1,000 stars. You are a temple, and you are restoring the gates between the worlds with every offering you make to your own well-being and to your spirit. This is like higher self energy, 1,000%. So tap into that higher self energy, Samantha. Where are we? Felix, can I get a card on what to focus on? Feel like my energy is everywhere. What should Felix focus on? Whatever interests you most. This is the Page of Pentacles. So whatever you are, it's kind of the same message for Denise. It's like what if you could, even if you have to make 3 of them, if it's hard to choose just one, like what's begging for your attention, even if it feels like, for me sometimes I've taken a little bit of a break because there's other things that are calling my attention right now. But like, say a couple, like when I'm done with this, you know what I'm doing? I'm going and playing Breath of the Wild because that's calling me. It's calling me, mama. Every time I play it, I have such a blast. I'm enjoying myself. When we enjoy ourselves, we are telling the universe we want to enjoy ourselves more. Okay. And that's different from addiction. I know the difference between that because addiction is more compulsive. It feels like if I don't get that, like it's a little bit more of a strung out feeling, whereas this is very expansive, it's creative, it's fun. Go play. May I have a card on where I should focus this week for Shelley? Temperance. Balance, meditation, presence. Balance, meditation, and presence, Shelley. So that's just like an over, like, because when you're focusing on that, everything else gets a lot easier. So start there. You and a card. General card for Christine. It's the first I've heard about a dimensional drop from the Younger Dryas. It does, yeah, it does. Well, you have the Homeward Traveler as well. Let's get a clarifier for you too. Good night, Denise. 9. The Hermit. Christine, make your heart a home, babe. They want they want you to be the safest place you can go, the safest place you can return to. They want you to be your own beacon of safety. Because when you are your own beacon of safety, everything else is just like, I don't know, man. Feels good. Feels real good. Um, Anne Marie Paisano, what do I need to let go of to heal my throat chakra? Huh. Interesting. I don't know how I don't know how you're going to feel about this. Because this is the Empress, and what's interesting to me is this picture and how she's just like looking at everything with this like real kind of close-up look, hyper focusing on little details and stuff. I think they're telling you to let go of focusing on the details because I have a mediumship card for you too. I have spirit into matter. And I know personally that if I'm trying to hyper focus, like say I get I'm trying to think of an example from recently. I heard blanket. I felt a blanket around my shoulders and I heard blanket. And I said that and then I don't know why, but I felt like I needed to understand more about the blanket and just instead of just telling my client blanket, because as soon as I said the word blanket, she jumped and she was like, "Oh my God," like there was a huge it triggered this whole thing for her. I didn't need to get into the details of what the blanket was, who gave the blanket, what was it, who made it. I just needed to say it. So I think to release this, it's like if we're trying to be right all the time, if we're constantly trying to be perfect, we limit our ability to communicate expansively. Does that make sense? It's really fucking good advice. Uh oh, Samantha. Remy wants a general card. I'm gonna pull one from this late priestess oracle of light. Dawn Watcher. Ooh, look at the art in this. Ah, number 13, caretaker, guardian, and support. Let's see what this is about. Makes wonderful sense. Okay. Cool. 13. Okay. It says, Remy, this is your chance to fully realize the beauty and potential of a new day. We cannot always see that we're watched over. We cannot always find within us the belief that we matter and are cared for by the universe. But if we could see with the eyes of the spirit, we would see there are precious beings all about us who will show up each day and watch over us. You're guided. And this why does this feel like the person that I connected with when I did mediumship with you? Is that your grandmother? Why is that making me want to cry? Woo! It's your guardian angel, boo. They're just saying hi. I'm looking out for you. I've got my eye on you. I love you. Yeah, that's who I because I feel that similar frequency as I tap into that. Don't miss anybody. Don't miss anyone. Is that everyone? I felt grief for her earlier. She's been in spirit for 16 years. Yeah, grief ain't linear, as it turns out. Grief is not. It's like I sometimes feel grief of friends who have left me years ago as fresh as it was the day that I found out they were gone. It's wild. It's like this weird punctuation in time. It's like a spike that just like it like anchors us to that instant somehow. And I think it can transmute, but I also think it's important to honor it. Heather, hello. Okay, so let's get you a card about moving. Are you staying in Vancouver? The only thing, let me get another one, please. I think they want you to prioritize this. Because I have the only thing, and this is typically kind of like we really and look at that dragon. That looks like Mushu. Good luck, dragon. Um, I feel like they really want you to focus on it because they're telling you to work through your fears. So if it's just fear that's keeping you from moving, they're like, yeah, clear that out. Make this your focus. Make this a priority. Interesting. Yeah, you might want to think about that. You might want to think about it. You definitely want to sit with yourself, sit with the parts of you that might be resisting the idea and just see if you can negotiate some peace, collaborate with the different parts of your consciousness. My throat hurts. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? I only have two. No, that's it. Oh, a matron. I'm going to pull for a matron. I don't know if a matron's still here, but I know that they want me to pull. I'm going to pull one for a matron. I'm going to pull one for Jason. They didn't ask, but I would like to pull for them because I know they always watch these later. So a matro, enchantment, mermaid energy. Oh, this is giving me the vibes of this romance novel I just finished that I'm fucking obsessed with. Go read you a magical romance novel. The one I read is called The Beautiful Ones. The Beautiful Ones. 5 stars. Oh no, I don't hand out my 5 stars easy. I'm very stingy. Fucking awesome. And Jason, I have Returning Home. This is interesting. This typically suggests like somebody has crossed over. So I don't know if maybe somebody who you know in spirit is trying to contact you. Maybe set up a mediumship appointment. Because that's what this is. Transition life between lifetimes and loving welcome. Um, did I pull a card for you, Nora? Or did I fucking pull another one? I'll pull another one. Week ahead. There's two. Sacred Journey, Introversion, Seeker, and Self-Knowledge. This is the Hermit. And the Relics of Lemuria, Fragments, Memory, and Reclaiming. Let's see what that's about. Speaking of Lemuria, take a moment to give thanks to the earth, to soften into the world, to notice the plants in their languages, the birds in their song, the intertwining of all that is, and know that you are a part of the beauty that is all around you. Reconnect and recommit to your own reclaiming of power. Allow the senses to extend and feel the world in a deeper, more intuitive way. I'm glad that you said something because I completely had a memory that didn't exist. I thought I already pulled one for you. It's fine. I know we've been talking about that. Get you some fucking Ondara glass, girl. Shit'll blast you off to 9D. Um, any questions, comments? Y'all, I feel like I'm just like a fucking, I'm just gonna do it. If you guys know anybody who you're like, you know what, you could use a reading, you could use some mediumship, you send them my way. We are in the slow season, so I am like, well, a bitch is gonna be like, yo, come get some stuff. So if you refer someone to me, let me know. I will discount any future readings you guys get with me. I'm happy to do that. I this is a hard time of year for everybody. Like I think I had again one reading today. One in 8 hours. And it was fine because I was mostly talking to my colleagues most of the time and holding shards of UFOs in my hands. I'm gonna go message Anya. You guys have a great night. $20 tier and up. I think we're gonna do this on Thursday again. Yeah. You guys have a good one. Okay, bye.